Hello, this is Janice from Matching to Fit. I help beginners start off in their sewing journey. The other day I was helping one of my customers who bought my sewing machine, and she is a complete newbie, starting off in her sewing journey, so she doesn't really know much about the tools that needs to be used for sewing. So I was telling her that she will need to use pins. So this is the more commonly used pins that we have. What we need to do with all these pins is that to help us manage the fabric. So let's say we have two fabrics here and we want to join them together, right? We want to join two fabrics together. So to help you, especially if you are a beginner, even though people who are more experienced, in sewing, they need to use pins, right? So what we do is we pin the two pieces together this way, right? So here, two pieces, we pin them together. Normally we need to align the two edges together and we pin them this way, right? So that's what we do to pin it so that you can manage easier when you're feeding your fabric into the sewing machine. So we need pins like this. This is a normal kind of pins. So for drafting also, you need to pin your paper pattern to your fabric before you cut, right, your fabric. So excuse me. Excuse me. So you will need to use pins. Definitely you will need, whether you are a new person at sewing or you are experienced sewer, still need to use pins. So there are different types of pins available, so I thought I will highlight that so that when you buy you will know. There is a type of pin in Malaysia. Here in Bahasa Malaysia, it is called the Jarum Langgar Lari. Why Langgar Lari? It is, see, Langgar Lari, I don't know whether can see or not. Can see Langgar Lari. The word Langgar Lari. Langgar Lari is so that, you see, when we are using these normal pins, you must remember to remove your pin when you are sewing in the sewing machine, because if the sewing machine needle hits this pin, it is going to break your sewing needle, right, your sewing machine needle. So you have to remember to remove your pin when you are sewing if you are using this type of pins, right? So when it is this Jarum Langgar Lari, or in English it is nickel plated, what you call pins, then it will somehow, because it's so fine, right, it will not break your sewing machine needle. So up to you whether you want to use this normal or do you prefer to use the nickel plated, or the in Malaysia, here Bahasa Malaysia, we call it Jarum Langgar Lari. Basically it's nickel plated and fine. So there is another type of pins that we can use, is what we call the glass head. These are the glass head pins. Let's see. So the head is glass. So now in case you need to iron your fabric together with the pin on the fabric, so you need to use glass head pins, because glass will be able to take the heat from the iron. So this type of pins will definitely not be able to go under the iron, right? So these are the things that you need to take note of when you're buying pins for your sewing tools, right? Then the other tool that you can use other than pins is what we call the Wonder Clip. This is the Wonder Clip that you can use to also hold two fabric together like this, right? So that you are also keeping the two fabrics together, right? And why do you use Wonder Clip is, especially if you are sewing with materials that shouldn't be pinned. For example, some fabric like silk, you might want to be very careful with pinning it, because you might puncture hole into the fabric, and then there will be holes that is visible. We don't want that. If you don't want that, then you might want to consider using the Wonder Clip. Now if you are sewing leather or even voile, right? So these materials, if your pin go through it, the hole can be seen. So we will want to actually use as few needles as possible, as little needles as possible on all that kind of material. Then you use the Wonder Clip. Okay, we especially use Wonder Clip if you are sewing with the overlocker, because we definitely cannot have the pins in the overlocker, right? So these are some of the things I thought it will be puzzling for you as a beginner, and you didn't know that there are so many such tools around, right? So I hope this is helpful. If it is helpful, do share this video with someone. Thank you.